I'm going outside of what I normally talk about here on this vlog, but I'm going to talk about New York City. It's my home. It's where I live. It's where I've lived for the last several years, and it's where I plan to live for the next several years. Some people think New York City is dying, New York City is dead, and I believe it's just beginning a new birth of a new New York City. And I want to share why I'm excited about the future of New York City. So New York City has an incredible history of immigrants coming into the city and a vibrancy, and it has a up and down roller coaster of a lot of crime historically, and then obviously it's a center for finance and for business and for entertainment. And I believe it's going to continue to be. There's an energy in this city. There's an entrepreneurship deep within the lifeblood of this city, and I think it's going to continue to be that place. Now, I don't think it's going to be what it was, and I think we're going to see a new New York City, and that's a good thing. That things progress, things change, things move, and I believe we're actually going to see progress for the good. Now, there's going to be some challenges, there's going to be some changes, and it's going to look different. And I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I was actually just talking to a guy who runs a dry cleaners the other day next to my new office, which I'll talk about later. But he was telling me that his dry cleaners is probably about to go out of business because people aren't going into work anymore. And I thought, man, I didn't even think about that. It's not like the restaurants where people can't go in. People can go to the dry cleaners, but they don't need to go to the dry cleaners. And there's so many things like that have just kind of the city has run in a certain way for so long. But there are changes happening, and people don't need to go to offices as much, and people don't have to commute as much, and that's going to change dry cleaning. That's going to change office space, and I think change creates opportunity. And so I'm excited about the opportunity that's happening in the city, and I want to share just 3 things that I get really excited about as I look to the new New York City and what's ahead. So the first thing that I get excited about and that I want you to be thinking about is affordability. We actually have some friends that are moving here to New York City, and they're just looking at some apartments in our neighborhood, and apartment prices are down like 30% in our neighborhood. And I was just thinking about what we pay and what we've paid and what they're about to be paying. It's incredible. And so the affordability is huge to be able to kind of move to New York City, where people that could never afford to be here before can now afford to be here. I actually have always dreamed of having my own private office here in the city. I work from home because I can, and it's cheap. And my kids homeschooling, though, I needed a place outside of my home to work, and because prices are down, I was able to afford a storefront private office space for me to work in on a daily basis. And so that affordability is really a great opportunity that's happening out of these changes that are happening in New York City. And so while there's a lot of devastation, and I hurt for that dry cleaners, and I hurt for so many people that have had a really good, healthy business for a long time, but I do get excited for the opportunity of the affordability that hasn't been possible in the past. The second thing that I get excited about is opportunity. And so I talk about how affordability gives you opportunity, but I think the opportunity is beyond the affordability. The opportunity is that there is more geographic space that's ever been available. And so I wonder, these storefronts, what's going to happen? These office spaces that aren't needed anymore, are people going to turn offices into apartments? What's going to happen with these spaces? And we have no idea. It's an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for anyone here in the city to think outside the box and create something new here for the new New York. And so as this city continues to be a global hub for people to come together, and it's such a beautiful picture when you get on a subway and you just see so many cultures coming together and just living together, and it's just such a beautiful melting pot here in the city. And so what's going to happen with some of these spaces, and as New York City continues to be a global hub for business and for finance and for entertainment and all the other aspects of how of what comes together here in the city, the availability of the opportunity that just because there's some space available for the first time in, decades probably, that there's been availability like this. So we've got to take advantage of these opportunities. And then the last thing that I get excited about is the creativity. So as there's affordability and there's opportunity, we're going to see creativity like we've never seen before. One of the things I love here in the city is you just see such creativity in how people use their space, and how people, just the parks and how the park spaces are used, and even so many retail spaces that people got creative with how they organize their space. One of the things I love seeing right now is, while we have to eat outdoors, these outdoor dining areas that are being set up are beautiful. And they're really maximizing the opportunity that is to eat outside. And lots of restaurants have actually increased their capacity with outdoor dining that they didn't have indoors. And so it's exciting to see the creativity that comes with new limits, but with those new limits are also new opportunities. And so I cannot wait to see how New Yorkers respond, or how those new people that are coming into New York get created with the affordable, unique opportunity that's right in front of them. I'm so excited about the future of New York City. If you don't know, my wife and I host a podcast called Coming to New York City. We share our journey of moving to New York City 6 years ago, and some of the things that we've loved doing and what it's like to raise kids here in the city. And so we're planting roots deeper. We're not going anywhere. And we hope you'll come visit New York City if you're just coming as a tourist, or for business, or for entertainment. Broadway's going to open back up someday. It's still a while off, but the entertainment that's here in the city, even without Broadway, there's so much here in the city. So we hope you'll come visit us. We hope you'll come move here. If you've ever dreamed of moving here, this is a great time to move to New York City. We love the city. And if you're coming to New York City, I'd love to have you at my office. So as I have this new office space, I want to have guests, and I want you to come to New York City. So reach out to me on social media, and let's connect. We love meeting people face to face, and I'd love to see you when you're here in the city. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you again on the next episode.